right. Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining today. This is the AI Academy. We're going to go ahead and get started. I know some folks are still joining. Um, if you are just joining, no worries. This session will be recorded and posted on YouTube. So just some housekeeping while folks are joining. I'm going to go ahead and start with our safe harbor notice for forward-looking statements. So please, just review this. You've probably already seen it if you attended Academy or any of our webinars before. But we may speak to some forward-looking statements for products and features that are not available yet. So please make any purchasing decisions based on what's available in GA today and not based upon any of these forward-looking statements. Some resources for you. So we do have our generative AI and intelligence community out on the larger ServiceNow community. So a really great place for blog posts, articles, Q&A, FAQs. You'll find a lot of that there. We also have our Now community YouTube. So you'll find the recording of this session as well as our other AI Academy sessions and academies for our larger platform team. So if you're interested in other topics, such as workflow or platform fundamentals or next experience, you'll find those academies out there as well. And then some session-specific content. So I'll drop some more links into the chats. We do have some docs that you can check out that are relevant to this session. And we'll go ahead and just post those in the chat for you, and you can find those product docs just doing a quick search. All right, so last thing I want to cover as far as housekeeping, these academies are for you. They're for you to better understand our products and our technology and for us to offer guidance to assist you with that. These sessions, like I mentioned, are recorded and they will be posted publicly on YouTube, so you can refer back to them. And we do encourage you to ask Q&A in that Q&A panel. Please do not do it in chat just because we get a report afterwards of Q&A. So if we need to take something offline and answer it in the community, that report just really helps us keep it all together. So if you do have Q&A, feel free to ask it during the session. We'll try to field it during the session and we'll release some some room at the end for the Q&A as well. So our topic today is sensitive topics and sensitive data in Now Assist. I am joined by Melody Young. She's an outbound product manager on our Now Assist HR service delivery team. So we're going to cover kind of a foundational overview of both of these topics today. We're not going to deep dive into technical details. You won't see a lot of configuration or any configuration really on this session today. We really just want to take these two topics and put them in a nice container for you so you can understand what they are when you're using generative AI. You can understand the differences. And when you get into configuration and you see enhancements going forward, you kind of have that foundational concept of these topics. So for our goals, it's a 30-minute session. We are going to spend the majority of the session on our topics. Like I mentioned, please ask that Q&A along the way, and we'll leave some time at the end for the Q&A for the webinar. So why are we discussing this topic? I wanted to go ahead and kind of open up with some grounding on why we're doing this session. First being that, sensitive topics and sensitive data are really important in generative AI to our customers and really anyone using generative AI, whether it's using our ServiceNow, now LLMs and our products, or if you're using any kind of product out there that uses AI. I know that everyone's really concerned about sensitive data and sensitive topics. We found that during conversations, a lot of the time these two topics are kind of interchanged. So we really, like I mentioned, wanted to containerize them so that you can have a better understanding of what each of them are and where you can find how to configure them and use them in ServiceNow and the goals and the outcomes of each of these topics. And for fun, I kind of just threw like a Google search out there, really high level. If you type in something like Now Assist sensitive data, you're going to see that you're going to get hits for both, like the sensitive data handler and sensitive topics. So I kind of wanted to demystify that. If you are doing a search or you're working your way through the product docs, this academy should really kind of help you know where to navigate and how to understand those docs. And we also have enhancements coming soon for both of these. So really exciting things coming up within the next month and releases going forward. So this academy should serve as a really great kind of like foundational, academy for you to understand these topics. So when you are getting into more of the advanced configuration and academies, you can always refer back to this one. So we'll go ahead and start with what the difference in both of these are, and I'll go ahead and hand it to Melody to kind of cover this first column on sensitivity detection.
Alrighty, thank you, Ashley. Hi, everybody. Good morning. My name is Melody, and I'm the outbound product manager for our analysis for HR product, which are generative AI capabilities for HR use cases. So I wanted to go over what sensitivity detection was. This was released back in our May release, and as it says on the slide here, it is specific to the HR product or analysis for HR product, and basically reason why we created this is because we heard from customers that, with HR, there's some sensitive matters that may come up, whether it's a harassment issue or any employee relations type of issues, discrimination, or an employee feeling, maybe discouraged or disgruntled about a performance review, for example, right? And we don't want an LLM or a virtual agent to address these issues because that could potentially create some legal risks for the organization. So we created these filters that could detect when things are considered sensitive, and we would redirect the user or the employee to either a live agent or to a case that they could create so that we can kind of circumvent any sort of sensitive matters being addressed by an LLM. So that's kind of it from my side, Ashley. I'll hand it back to you about to talk more about the sensitive data handler.
All right, thank you. So on the other hand, sensitive data are things like social security numbers, phone numbers, and any other kind of PII that you or your organization does not want to send to the LLM for processing. Currently, we do have regex patterns to handle sensitive data, so we do ship some out-of-the-box ones. You can modify these and add your own regex patterns if you need to. And the sensitive data handler it can be used with all Now Assist products, not just Now Assist for HRSD. But if you are using Now Assist for HRSD and you are concerned with both, either sensitive topics and sensitive data, the best case scenario is to use both of these pieces of technology just so you're covered in both use cases. So I will get into sensitive data handling a little bit more in the webinar. But I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Melody again to cover sensitive topic detection and a demo as well.
Okay, sounds good. So I kind of covered this a little bit in the previous slide, but just as a reminder again, yep, this experience is going to live in the virtual agent, and for employees who are interacting with this conversational interface, how can we help them make sure that for any sensitive matters that they have, they're getting the right support that is either a live agent or just creating a case and properly getting the help that they need. So with that, I can just go into a quick demo to show you what the experience would look like. So let me replace the share and okay. Okay, so right now I am logged on to the Employee Center, which is our employee portal. That's kind of that one-stop shop for our employees to get any help that they need, getting company communications and staying up to date on the latest news, as well as taking action on different requests or to put in a support or HR support ticket, for example, right, or a case. And for me, I can either engage with the search to look up items, or I can also use a virtual agent to put in various requests and kind of be guided through the process of submitting that case or request. And in this scenario, I actually want to get some help on a performance review question. So I got some feedback from my manager and not feeling particularly great about it. So I figured, hey, I'm going to pose this question to the virtual agent and try and get some help in any way, shape, or form. And so the virtual agent detects that this is one of these sensitive topics I shouldn't really address. So it's going to provide a response that says, hey, I'm sorry you're going through this, but I'm just a chatbot and I can't really help you out with this type of request. So, you have options of using your live agent, or you can put in a case with HR to get the guidance and the support that you need. So depending on the type of channel that you have, if you have live agent, you can put that as an option. You can take that out of the workflow too, if you feel like that's not the channel that you want to direct your employees to, and just let them create a case afterwards. So the employee can choose between these two options and kind of go through the typical support process that exists today. So that's the entire experience to help ensure that we can minimize any sort of risk that, the organization may face as it relates to using analysis and also just handling these sensitive matters. So, Ashley, do you want me to wait on Q&A or should I hand it or
Oh, we
uh,
actually just got one. I was going to see. Let's see. Can we configure the topics and utterances which we want BA to consider a sensitive topic? So, Melanie, I'm not sure if we want to answer this one for HRC. I know we have some semantic filters for BA and some product documentation.
yeah.
But
Oh, sorry. Just more of a forward-looking item. We do have plans to allow customers to configure what's a sensitive topic and what's not. So yes.
and the next one, and I'll go ahead and share in just a second. Can we configure this with different languages and provide sensitive topics?
Um, that I could get back to you guys on, and I will have to double check on where we're at with that. Yeah.
Okay, that sounds
Yep.
good. Yeah, as we mentioned, we do have some exciting enhancements coming to this. So I'm actually going to have Melody join me in probably a month, and we'll be able to go a little bit deeper on sensitive topic detection, provide a little bit more of a demo and configuration experience. So if we can't get to your question today, or you want to see more of this, just be aware that we will have more to come on this topic for you. All right. So I'm going to go ahead. Melanie, I'm not sure if you can see the Q&A. We can leave these to the end. There's one more too. I'm going to go ahead and share, and then we'll answer those while I'm sharing, or we can wait until the end as well.
Yeah, I can just address them
Cool.
on chat. So
All right, so we're going to go ahead and switch gears now back to sensitive data. So as I mentioned prior, sensitive data are things such as, credit card numbers, social security numbers. You may consider maybe email addresses or even phone numbers sensitive data. And we do have some out-of-the-box regex records that we do ship with the sensitive data handler that you can modify or you can add your own. Really anything that your organization considers to be sensitive data, and you can create a regex for it. So now, if you're an organization that has HIPAA requirements or FERPA requirements or any other kind of data requirements, you can configure these and add them to the sensitive data handler. Also, too, I'll get to kind of the use cases in just a second, but we do have the sensitive data handler for things like virtual agent and agent chat, aside from generative AI. So there may be things such as like email addresses that during a virtual agent conversation, you may not consider that PII. You might not want to mask it during that conversation, but you definitely wouldn't want to send that email address over to the LLM for processing. So you have that level of configuration and deciding what's masked and where. And that really kind of brings me to my next slide on kind of the use cases right now that you can use the sensitive data handler in. So the first that use case being our conversational use cases. So using virtual agent and agent chat. This is where we really introduce the sensitive data handler. So you may already be using it today if you're using virtual agent and agent chat. And in this scenario, if you have PII that's accidentally entered into a virtual agent or agent chat conversation, you can set the sensitive data handler up to mask it. So it's not visible to the agent and the requester. So, in that credit card scenario, that may be something that you definitely don't want your agents to see and your requester accidentally entered it in. The sensitive data handler can mask that if you've configured it. And that's all done within your instance. So that's before the data really gets sent out to an LLM or goes anywhere. It's all, the masking is all done in your instance. So, and if you are using Now Assist Virtual Agent and like chat summarization, this is just another great layer to mask sensitive data and ensure that sensitive data during requester and agent conversations is masked. The next scenario being our generative AI scenario. So masking sensitive data that is sent to the LLM for processing. So we do use a two-way masking process to mask sensitive data before it's sent to the LLM and in the response as well. So this scenario is if you're concerned, if you're using Now Assist or if you're using generative AI and you're concerned about any kind of PII going out to the LLM for processing, you can use the sensitive data handler to catch this PII. You can use both of these in conjunction. So if you are using virtual agent, agent chat, and Now Assist products, you can use the sensitive data handler for both at the same time. And like I mentioned, you can add more regex scenarios there to capture that PII. So this is a really kind of high level flow chart of what that looks like. This isn't the entire flow of the processing. If you have questions about that, please get with your account team and we can walk you through that a little bit more. So I do want to just speak about the term inference. This may be a new term to you. You can think of inference as the real-time processing of using a trained LLM to take your prompt and return a response. So in this flow, we are in the blue here, starting out in your customer instance. You have an out-of-the-box prompt with Now Assist, or maybe you created a custom prompt with Now Assist Skill Kit. That prompt is going to go to the generative AI controller in your instance. If you do have the sensitive data handler installed and configured for generative AI, this is where we're going to do that pre-processing in your instance itself. So kind of what that looks like is that we mask the sensitive data with placeholder text. We store that mapping in your instance, and then we send the prompt to the LLM. So I have an example here. Let's say that you don't want to send email addresses to the LLM, and you've configured that. You're going to see something like the email address masked with this kind of placeholder text here. And this is what the LLM sees. It doesn't see the email. It sees this like GAIC and some numbers behind it. That's what's in your prompt. And then we send the prompt off to our LLM, or if you're using bring your own LLM, that works in this scenario as well. So again, the LLM doesn't see anything. It just sees this kind of placeholder text. It doesn't know what that means. And uses the rest of the prompt to do its processing and uses the context from there. Once the LLM has a response, it'll send it back to your instance. And once the response is sent back to your instance, the prompt and the response are deleted from our data center. So we don't retain any of that information. Everything is done in memory only. So once your instance receives it, it's removed from the data center. Your instance has that mapping, like I mentioned, to replace the placeholder text with the original text. So it's going to see that GIC placeholder text. It knows that it's actually this email address, and we replace it with the original text that the agent can see. So this is a masking process just to prevent the LLM from seeing that sensitive data. It doesn't do redaction. It does not, prevent the agent from seeing it. We have other products out there for that within the instance. But if you are mainly concerned about sensitive data being sent to LLMs, this is where you're going to use the sensitive data handler to handle that kind of scenario. And then I did want to cover just kind of an important kind of topic regarding using LLMs and then also training LLMs. We get this question a lot. So this is, like I mentioned, a really great foundational academy to kind of speak to this. So like I mentioned, using LLMs or inference is the real-time processing. So if you have an agent that maybe hits that summarize button, this is where we take that prompt, we send it to the LLM, and you get that response back. Inference uses an already trained LLM. So it's if you're thinking about now LLMs, it's an LLM that we've already trained and we have deployed into production for you to use with your Now Assist products. When you call an LLM or use inference, you're not training the LLM. Unlike other kind of machine learning technologies that are out there, LLMs are not self-learning. So during this process, the LLM cannot learn from the information that you're sending it. And you do use the sensitive data handler during this process here to mask any kind of sensitive data that you don't want the LLM to see. And if you are, I'll get to the next column in just a second, but the prompt and the response are stored in a log table within your instance. And we can use that information to train our LLMs if you choose to participate, which kind of brings me to the second column here. So training LLMs, this is not a real-time process. When you use an LLM, you are not training it. Training an LLM is a process that follows a model development lifecycle. This occurs outside of your instance. We have special data centers and instances and standard operating procedures and processes set up to train our models before they get to production. So kind of want to make that distinction that there's a lot going on before a model gets to production for you to use it. We do have some data sharing programs out there that you can choose to participate in if you're an Analysis customer to help us train our LLMs and make them better. We have a lot of information out on support about that. So we do use, data that is in those log tables to help train our LLMs. And what that looks like, how we do that, if you do participate, is that we use in-house tooling and industry standard tooling to cleanse data of PII and anonymize it all within your instance before we extract it out to our specialized instances for training. And again, this is all if you choose to participate. If you don't choose to participate, we're not going to do this process here. And if you are participating, you aren't on the hook for cleansing any PII. You don't have to use the sensitive data handler to do this for training. We take care of all of this for you, so you don't have to worry about that. I know this is a lot, and I know it is a topic of concern. So I will say, going past this webinar, please check out the support documents. Please get with your account teams, and we can spend more time on this with you and go a lot deeper into what those data sharing programs look like and what the flows look like with you. And with that, I do want to show kind of just a quick screen share of what this looks like. And I think we have some Q&A as well. We're making some good time. So let me go ahead and switch over here. All right. So I'm in my instance. The first thing I want to show you is kind of just today what the sensitive data handling regexes look like. So like I mentioned, we do ship some out of the box. You can use them again for those virtual agent and agent chat use cases, and you can use them for generative AI. This is a plugin that you'll need to install separately, and then you will need to configure, what you want to mask for generative AI. I know we have generative AI in the names of some of these, but that doesn't automatically do the masking for you. What you'll have to do is add in this generative AI category to the types of PII and regexes that you want to mask. So there is that step there, and we do have product docs. We are aiming to make this a little bit easier in the future, but for today's purposes, these are kind of the steps that you would need to take. This is also kind of where you do that kind of configuration. You can create your own regex records, and then you can also determine which regex record applies to maybe virtual agent and which one applies to Gen AI, or maybe both, because this is where you really kind of control all of that. And then let's just go ahead and do like a quick proof of concept here, so you can kind of see this in the works. So you saw that I had that regex configured for email addresses. And in my incident, once it loads, I did just kind of preload an email address into the activity log here. So it is in the instance, like, as an agent, I would still be able to see this information. But I'm going to go ahead and click summarize, and that's going to, shoot that prompt off to our Now LLM. And here's the response. So all that information has already been deleted from the data center at this point. And then we're going to kind of peek under the covers a little bit. This is a log table that is locked down to make currently. Forward-looking statements, we are trying to make this easier for you to see in a future release as far as this kind of information. But I'm going to go into the prompts and just going to look for GIAC. And this is kind of where you can see that activity log, right? Hi, you can contact me directly. And in the incident, my email address was there, but you can see that we did this masking. So that whole flow that I showed you, the prompt mask it has no idea what that email address is. And then, it unmasks it once it gets back into your instance. So I did want to show you what that looked like kind of in real time. And with that, we have some good time. I actually did leave 5 minutes for questions this time. Sometimes I do run over, so go ahead and start fielding some questions here. And Melody, I didn't know if you had any that you wanted to answer out loud, or any that you wanted to kind of reiterate while I'm kind of reading through.
I Yeah, so the one that I saw was the VA response, if that's analysis generated one. So I am double checking on that. Today I don't think it is analysis generated. I think it's something you can pre-configure into your virtual agent so you can get the right response that you're um, looking for as the employee puts in that sensitive request. So I can double check on that one though.
Okay.
Yeah, that might be it from my questions.
Yeah, I do see some in here for the sensitive data handler. One asking if it's already kind of trained for HIPAA rules or that would be separate. Right now it's separate. So, I showed that kind of the email addresses and the credit cards and socials and things like that are out of the box. So if you have more kind of HIPAA PII that you need to add, you would need to add it manually right now. Again, Safe Harbor, we are expanding kind of the sensitive data handler features, and we will have some enhancements coming out going forward. I'm not sure if we'll cover HIPAA in that and have that out of the box. And I also saw a question about different countries and different languages too. I know it's very US centric right now, but keep an eye out for further enhancements. We are making those. So if you don't see it right now, it would be manual, but we do have more things along the way in future releases. Let's see what else we have here. Uh, I do have one about kind of competitive advantage from ServiceNow. As far as sensitive data handling and topic detection and kind of PII and LLMs, this is just something that we offer out of the box. We take your PII and your data very seriously here. We have a lot of great new products coming out for that. I know that we have a new product called sensitive data redaction that you can look into for other kind of use cases. So this is really just kind of our adherence to responsible AI at ServiceNow. We have a lot of great responsible AI guidelines out there, but like sensitive data and privacy and offering kind of human-centric, AI interactions. This is just what we do. It's part of kind of our responsible AI ethics. So I wouldn't really kind of consider it a competitive advantage, just something that's really important. And I feel like every AI product should have. So if you are looking at AI products that don't have any kind of sensitive data handling or masking of PII, I would maybe dig a little bit deeper into those products and as to why they don't have those. Let's see if we have any more questions that I can. The recording will be found on YouTube. So don't worry, we'll get it out in just a few days. And then let's see. There's some I'm going to take offline that just I won't be able to answer in the next 2 minutes, or maybe a little bit more complex than kind of answering in this scenario. Is there a document or process that kind of describes the filtering process for AI content to train LLMs? Yes, we do have some support articles out there. You will need to log in or have a login to support. We have, 5 or so articles that I maintain on processing data with LLMs, and then the data sharing programs and model development. So if you do have questions on how we do that, and you do have questions on the data sharing programs, check those support articles. And then also get with your account teams. We have, specialized folks here at ServiceNow who are trained to really dig deep into this to help you understand it and to also help your account teams understand it. So we want to make sure that you make educated decisions if you choose to, participate in data sharing or not. So please reach out to your account teams. We will make sure that we give you all that information and make sure that you understand it thoroughly. So I know we are coming up on time. If I did not answer your question, we'll take it offline and I'll put it on the community post. And I do appreciate everyone for joining us today, and keep an eye out for these topics to come up again in future academies. I know we have one coming up next month for a product that I would encourage you guys to join. It will be at the end of the month where we'll kind of circle back around on this information. Thank you, everyone.